Hello there, YouTube. I am Necrostevo, and it is time for week number 3 in the MGL. Our opponent this week is Soul Blaze, which sounds a lot like a tale of souls and swords, eternally retold. Soul Blaze, I was really looking forward to this battle just off of the name of the coach alone. So, let's take a look at what Soul Blaze is bringing to this battle. You may have noticed that there is no get ready with me this week. That's because of rampant power outages that I was having to deal with. And the power came on literally as I was loading into battle Soul Blaze. Soul Blaze, thank you again for being willing to give me your side of the battle, because I was already playing on my hotspot, and then it's like it was just really scuffed that day. But I will let you all know at the top that I prepped for the wrong team. So one thing I learned here is to always go double check to see if your opponent's changes are active for the week that you're fighting them. I prepped for Frogadier, Pig Knight, Clefairy, Vullaby, Gloom, Alolan Graveler, Cutiefly, Bronzor, Bramblin, and Bagon. My opponent actually had access to a completely different team. The team that he had access to was Frogadier, Pig Knight, Weepinbell, Vullaby, Luxio, Shelgon, Drillbur, Cutiefly, Bronzor, and Bramblin. And wouldn't you believe it, we had to contend with the Weepinbell, the Luxio, and the Drillbur here. So the team that I brought was not at all prepped for what I was going up against. But that is fine. We have our modest Ghastly here with only enough speed to outspeed what I thought would be the max 60 base speed Vullaby, which of course means that Drillbur is going to outspeed my Ghastly. We have a timid Chinchou with the Eviolite, but with a lot of special attack here to put on a lot of pressure. Our spicy tech for the week, Power Herb Reboot, completely useless. That was there for the Pig Knight, thinking that it could easily swap in and take a hit from Reboot. Power Herb, of course, will power up, bounce, and make it a turn move instead of it taking 2 turns. And yeah, completely useless. I would have loved to have something else in that slot there. We did have our Focus Sash, Pickpocket, Nuzleaf coming off the bench for the first time. A nice mixed set. This there to defog away any webs that I had to deal with from the Cutiefly. We had our Eviolite, Trick Room, Porygon. That's right, Trick Room coming back again this week. And then finally a Choice Banded Rufflet. So yeah, those are the Pokemon that we brought. Let's take a look at the matchup, even though you all already know that our opponent will have a couple of Pokemon that we did not prep for. Alrighty, you can see here that this battle starts hella abruptly because, like I said, power came on while I had already started the battle, so I scrambled to get the recording going. We do just lead with our Banded Rufflet, and I go straight for U-turn against the Weepinbell. And honestly, I could have just stayed in there and gone straight for Aerial Ace. That would have been fine right here. But I thought he would switch out just because of the matchup there. I go out into Porygon. We see that I get the special attack boost, which is great. I would have much preferred that Rufflet got knocked off compared to Porygon, but this also gives me an opportunity to hopefully go for Trick Room. I was a little bit, I was absolutely scattered at the beginning of this battle between trying to get the recording going and also going, my opponent has 3 Pokemon that I did not know he had access to during this battle. And so I did forget that Weepinbell could just go for Sleep Powder here. That was kind of silly, honestly. So Porygon goes to sleep and it loses its Eviolite, and I am severely behind at the start of this battle. We took our guaranteed 1 turn of sleep here, and of course we have to take anywhere between 1 and 3 turns of sleep. Frogadier comes out and just goes for a U-turn to chip me down, but I was completely willing to take this chip because if I can get up a Trick Room right here, I have plenty enough HP to really take out at least 1 Pokemon, if not 2, but I stay asleep for 2 turns. And so here I was like, well, I'm going to take a bunch of damage from something. So he goes for Giga Drain, gets back a good chunk of HP. And I was like, please wake up here, Porygon, or you're just going to not be able to do anything this match. Porygon does hear my plea for help, and he wakes up and he goes for the Trick Room. Thank you, Porygon, because that means we just get to go for the Tri-Attack here and finish off the Weepinbell. I do think that that Weeping Bell might have been Sash, since he just led with it and clicked knockoff so confidently there, because that means that even if I had gone for Aerial Ace, I would have lost the Choice Band on my Rufflet. Now Volibee comes out, and I just want damage on this thing. Volibee is very annoying for my team, and I know I can't KO it if it has any special bulk at all. If it happens to be max physical bulk, I will KO it, but it looks like it has some special bulk, and that means that we put it in almost critical HP and get taken down by the Brave Bird. So we do lose Porygon very, very early without doing as much damage as I really hoped, but sometimes that's just what happens when you're playing with the sleep turns there. Now, Volibee versus Rufflet is a matchup that I really have never had an opportunity, so of course I'm going to do it here. Of course, Volibee and Rufflet are, they're like counterparts to one another. So it's like little bro and little sis, and if they were twins. We lose our Choice Band here, but I go for the Aerial Ace just to make sure that we take down the Volibee. And now I can swap my move if I want to, which is actually kind of nice for what is remaining in this battle. We also know that the Trick Room is down, so Luxio comes in. Luxio is another thing here. I would have absolutely put Volt Absorb on my Chinchou. I put Water Absorb because I thought that my opponent was going to have the Frogadier and no electric presence, so I had no reason to put Volt Absorb. But if I had seen Luxio at Team Preview, I absolutely would have put the Volt Absorb. We miss close combat as the Cutiefly comes in, and that's pretty bad because even though it's double resisted, it is a hustle boosted close combat with max attack here, so it would have hurt the Cutiefly a fair bit. I don't really have a swap into Cutiefly's Moonblast, and my opponent knows that, so unfortunately for a second game in a row, I'm forced to sacrifice Rufflet in this way. I could have gone out to Raboot or maybe Ghastly, but on the off chance that this were a Specs Cutiefly, it would still blow both of those Pokemon up. We are going to take this opportunity to go out into Reboot and go for Swords Dance, predicting the Luxio to want to come back in on it. Even though the Intimidate will lower me to +1 attack, Swords Dance will offset that, and so even though I don't get my +2, I am at +1. And so here it's time to try to get back into this game. I have to make some plays here, because I could absolutely just go for Trailblaze, but if my opponent goes for an electric type move, Trailblaze of course will mean that I resist it. I'm thinking that he is going to assume that I'm going to do that, and so instead I'm going to go for Flare Blitz in order to do the most damage. He does go out into the Frogadier, which I thought was a brazen play, because if I had gone for Trailblaze there, I think I would have just dropped the Frogadier immediately. And here I'm thinking that the switch into Chinchou is just way too obvious, and I've played kind of obvious at the start of this battle. And I do get this call correctly because my opponent goes for U-turn. While if he had gone for a weaker water type move there, I was a normal type because of the Swords Dance. So a weaker water type move wouldn't have KO'd me, but he's Life Orb, so I'm thinking just about anything would have KO'd me there. So that was a little bit of a Hail Mary, but it does pay off because now I get the Trailblaze. My Reboot is back down to neutral attack. And so Trailblaze means that I'm faster than the Frogadier, which is great. But I'm thinking that now that I got some chip damage on the Luxio, even if it's Eviolite, I can take it down from here. Oh, speaking of Eviolites, in this battle, I got 1 point for Eviolite management, because I thought that the Pignite and the Volibee would have the Eviolite. There is no Pignite, but the Volibee had the Eviolite based off of the damage calc, so I get another point for where is that Eviolite. Now, my opponent brings in his Drillbur just to try to make me go for an attacking move. It would have been really funny if right there, if I had gone for another Swords Dance. That would have been really silly. Why would I do that in front of a Drillbur? And actually, Flare Blitz doesn't even KO Drillbur, so he could have just stayed in on the first time that he did that. But he wanted to make sure that I was shipped down into a range, most likely, so that the Rapid Spin would KO me. Here, I was so tempted to go into Ghastly, thinking, I can be immune to the Rapid Spin, but I forgot, honestly, about the Mold Breaker, so if I had gone out into Ghastly and he had gone for Earthquake, that could have been very bad. But also, again, this Drillbur absolutely outspeeds my Ghastly. I did not run max speed on my Ghastly because I thought that the fastest thing I needed it for was the Volibee. So, base 60 versus, I think, base 87 speed, I think is what the Drillbur has. No, wait. What does Drillbur have? I think it's base... It might be base 70 as well. I don't have it in front of me. We do go out to our Focus Sash Nuzleaf here because even though he's faster than me, after the Rapid Spin, I am Focus Sash. And I can just throw off a Leaf Storm here. You can see the Cutiefly come back in, and this is where I really wish I had hit that close combat earlier, because I think the close combat would have done over half, and so the Leaf Storm would have just dropped the Cutiefly. Not wanting to lose out on my Focus Sash, I do decide to switch out to Chinchou. Here I'm not as bulky as previous weeks, and so the Moonblast does a little bit more damage than I like, honestly. I am able to just go for Scald here, and this is another great example. I get some luck here because I do not get a special attack drop from the repeated blasting of Moonblast here. Pause. But we are able to take down the Cutiefly, which feels great. Drillbur comes in, and this sucks because, again, I did not prep for Drillbur, so I don't have anything for the Drillbur. I honestly can't even swap into it because if he just goes for Earthquake, that will destroy Ghastly's Levitate ability. It'll go right through it and it'll KO me. Now, I do still have Sash on my Nuzleaf, so I was like, okay, on the off chance that for some reason he's some sort of slow, bulky Drillbur, we're going to try Ghastly first. And then if he is, then I'll outspeed him and I'll KO him with a Shadow Ball. At this point, I still have my Sash on my Nuzleaf, so even if Ghastly goes down, which Sir Billows does, I still have Sash on Nuzleaf, so it's fine. I just have to hit the Drillbur, and we're good to go here, honestly. So I go back out into my Nuzleaf, and all I have to do is click the Leaf Storm. I did calc Knock Off and Sucker Punch. They would not be doing enough. I have to hit this Leaf Storm here. And unfortunately for me, we don't even get to see if the Leaf Storm would have hit because I get flinched. And on top of prepping against the wrong team, the power outages, and all the other cool stuff here, we get flinched at the very end, so we don't even know if we would have hit the Leaf Storm. And you see that timer ticking down as I'm just like, I would have at least liked the chance to hit the Leaf Storm. Leaf Storm is 90% accurate, so there's every chance that I could have just missed it. But we'll never know. And also, Rock Slide is a range, actually. So I am not minus defense nature, I'm minus special defense. So he has to get around the same range of damage. The minimum it did was 44%, but he's able to get the range on top of the flinch, and so that means that we lose week number 3 in the MGL. And I must have been correct about that storm coming last week, because I got up that morning to get ready to travel, and so my power finally came on during the battle, and then we drove to where we were driving to, and when I got there, the power got knocked out again. So I suppose the darkness follows where it will, even without the power outages. Just a lot of challenges, I think, last week. But that's why I take a little bit of R&R time around things. So thank you all for watching. I know this battle upload was super fast. Sometimes it's what we need, right? We just want a quick hitter to kind of start the week off here. And come back next week when we're going to be going up against Oro here. So thank you all so much. And I hope you all have a wonderful night. And I'll talk to you next time. Good night.